Hello and welcome to another episode of the LTA Report. Finally, MSI is here. Plains is over. It's like MSI is one of the tournaments where like so many games happen all the time compared to, Worlds where you got a lot of games and then all of a sudden there's like a huge lull. You just get game after game after game every single day. Today we're getting two best of fives. Tomorrow we're getting two best of fives. I think the day after we're getting another two best of fives. We have like one day off for the next like 10 days. So, a lot to cover. We can go right into it with play-ins. Play-ins were fun. They were very exciting. The expected results happened, but it didn't happen the way everybody thought it would. I think BLG look, man, Korea and China should not be in play-ins. They have, I think, historically lost one game, and it was like to each other. I don't think they even drop games, let alone series. So like at this point,
The
just
only
give us
one
more
I
seeds.
really can even think of is the EDG one, if you remember Worlds 2017 to
That
I think
wasn't
it's Brazilian
play-ins.
team.
Yeah, that wasn't play-ins.
Yeah,
That
that
was the
was.
first game of
That was
Worlds. No. INTZ versus
no, no,
EDG was the
play-ins.
first game. No.
It wasn't that, was it?
INTZ versus EDG. Look it up. It was the first game of Worlds. It was not play-ins.
Oh, it's Group C. Interesting.
Yep, it was the first game of Worlds. I still remember it. Brazil was like roaring. It was like, oh my god, amazing. And then they didn't win a single game. None of their games were even close after that. It was like an absolute demolition of INTZ.
Mhm.
But yeah, like we start off with an absolute banger, G2 versus Furia. I'm gonna be honest, Furia were the better team. Like in terms of like the way they
Yeah.
played the map, G2 was more experienced. They made like they were able to clutch up, but Furia, like you can tell they played better League of Legends 80% of the time. They faltered. Don't get me wrong; they don't deserve to win, but I think run that back like to the second time, I'm pretty sure they win. And that's scary
Okay,
to
yeah.
say from G2, like EU's best team.
Well, not even best, like second best, right?
I mean, in general, like historically,
Like
they've won
like
MSI, they made it to finals.
internationally more experience, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sure, they have LeBron. Dude, LeBron is just not it. Like, G2, G2's magic come from the fact that Caps can match these Eastern mid laner. BB has very creative, like, game plans for what he wants to do in top lane. And Mickey X is like an X factor that creates magic in the mid to late game. Like their macro, their movements, they don't play the way Eastern teams are used to. And they're able to find these gaps of like, oh, this team fight, no one would have ever approached it with that angle in the East. And they lost that with Mickey. And Lebrov doesn't have the capability to really push the game forward, to really make things happen, right? Even when he's playing Blitzcrank, like he just when he's playing Rakan, he's not finding these amazing flanks. He's not playing like covering top dives. He's not like playing the map, finding these cool like pockets of fog of war, standing in mid lane. He's not doing any of that. And so it's like you completely and entirely downgraded in the support position. The laning is like a little bit better, but like it doesn't, cover up for any of the faults. Hansama's playing great. Caps is playing good. He's not playing like peak Caps, but he's also carrying this team. Broken Blade is absolutely running it down. Like, what is this team? Where is the G2 magic when it seems like with the removal of Mickey and the regression of BB, like there's no G2 magic left to be had.
So like, I haven't watched LEC a lot this year, but now watching this, there's 100% the argument to make. Um, should you do an NA versus EU? If you're gonna keep the seedings how they are, should you do an NA2 versus EU2 for like an MSI slot? Because G2 were terrible, man.
We
Like
would have destroyed them. It wouldn't have even been close.
I hate transitive property, but we would have like if Giga was destroying BB, imagine what Thanatos could do with him. Like
PI was
Jesus
destroying
Christ.
BB as well.
Exactly. And these teams I don't consider good. Like I think we're half decent, and like I know Bro said like Caps would be able to play into C9 better. Sure, but look, what about his other four players that are going to get their absolute like cheek spread by. There's not a single player outside of Caps where you'd be like, okay, there is a clear advantage like over C9.
Vulcan would run
I'm infuriated.
laps
Like,
around Labrov, like just yeah.
well, he didn't. Or he did in scrims if he saw what Sven said.
I saw. Wait, what did he say? I don't remember. He basically
So
like
we
they
won
had to cancel the game,
3-1,
right?
but it was well, it was like G2 only did 4 games. It was a 3-1 apparently, and apparently things did not go well. And according to BB as well, that things did not go well when he faced Thanatos.
Which is strange because when I talked to Dylan Falco, he said like we think we're playing really well. We've been facing really strong teams, and we like we've been improving, and like we think we're really in form right now. And then I hear what Sven said, and I'm like, I hope that was
I
like two
think
weeks ago.
that's I think that's a classic case of like coaches PR training versus players
But Dylan is
being
one of the people who
unfiltered.
actually says like, "Oh yeah, we're trying to figure stuff." Like he's actually one of the people who doesn't. Maybe he's gotten used. Like now he has to, but Dylan is like the one person that
But
I would have expected to
it's
like.
stuff like an international event. Like, do you really want to be saying no? We're getting our cheeks spread by all these NA teams. Not even the
Just don't
Eastern
say
teams.
anything.
Like
Don't
the
comment
NA
on your
team.
scrims. Just don't comment on the scrim. Like I didn't even ask about the scrims. He voluntarily said like we have the belief that we can do well. We're playing really well into these like really strong teams. We're in great form. Like we think we can do this. Like you just don't say that if it's not true.
I think it's upsetting for Furia because you don't want the classic because it was all online. Like C9 should have taken their spot. Like Furia shouldn't have been there, and then Furia gets like within like this close of beating G2. No, it was a tough break for them. But like they did better than I thought they would. Like genuinely. Um, I think the conversation. Not try not to bring it too much into like my team, but the conversation that they'd make a competitive series with us is absolutely fucking cap. Like I think they like we need that. That brings in the conversation of you need more cross conference play because if only we had cross conference to actually test these theories, like instead of just letting the delusion just sit there, right? Um, I think they had a good showing. Like, and this is one of the first. Is it the first best of 5 Brazil's ever had internationally?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, if it wasn't in the context of they are tied to this merger that they didn't want, there'd be a completely different like outlook on like CBLOL. Like things would be so much better. I think
So
because
here's the thing. It's not like they did anything different in order to play. Like if it was a case of, hey, we made it out. So last year in Worlds, they made it out of planes, right? First time. That was something to like be very proud of. But like the fact that they played best of fives is great, but it's not because they did something incredible, like make it into the group
I
stage.
guess
It was the format was changed.
I guess in some ways it's also like you couldn't beat these teams that are not that great, so maybe it's a little concerning because you're meant to be like according to Riot, the LTA South one's meant to be on par with LTA North, right?
No, it's not.
And these teams,
That's why it's
well,
LTA South 1 is our second seed. It's not supposed to be as LTA 1. Like
well,
LTA South is never like on the same level as LTA North 1
right,
according to Riot. Yeah.
but like even so, they still decided to remove an NA spot. So you'd think that um, Riot believes at least enough that okay, this second seed is going to still do something, and they should have beaten G2. Like it's
And
such a
Gam like
yeah.
they had
It's
those
like they
series.
had they had good they had good early ideas. It's just when you go into those pressure moments, they just crumbled.
But I will say, look at G2. Look at how many years of international experience players like Caps, like Hansama, even Broken Blade. Like they have so many years of experience doing things. And then look at what's it called? Look at Gam with Kiaya, with Levi. Like the guy played in NA before. Like
That's also the caveat. It's like this is a young team, like, and this team will continue to improve.
Yeah, Toots
I
is
really hope Fincard stays
22. They're
there
the
for a
youngest
bit.
team in MSI. Toots is
Yeah,
22 years old, and he has two championship under his belt. He has like a daughter already. Like the guy is speed running like his life right now. So I can see them needing like a little bit more time and experience.
yeah. What do you think of? I know that Riot's going to immediately like bark on the viewership if they didn't do it this way, but I would love like a CS major style like type of format where you have like stage one, you have your like your it'd be the equivalent of like Gam and Furia, and then like your stage two, you'd have teams like your G2, your FlyQuest, etc. And then your stage three that's when you'd incorporate like the LCK and LPL teams because I really don't want to see LPL teams in fucking planes again. It's so boring. Like I think that like or like I just don't enjoy it because you don't need to see Furia get who's a Furia? No,
It was
you don't
Gam,
need any of these. Is Gam
Gam and
and G
G2.
two?
Like illegal stuff
You don't
happened to
need.
them.
You don't need to see them, and it's not really great warm up for BLG and Anyways,
I mean, maybe it's
it's
like
like
a
you get to play on stage, but it's not like they could have won. They were winning those series with their eyes closed because I didn't even think they played
okay. Game
amazing.
one, game
I
one, they
felt
almost lost. Like they were
I
at the
thought I
nexus. G2
thought
was at the
I
nexus.
thought I thought Base One played well.
Yeah,
I
he
will give
did.
him that.
I think it was good for
But
Beishuan for sure.
yeah, but outside of that, do you really need to see the other four world finalists play against playing teams?
I think until the West successfully, consistently outperforms, outplaces Eastern teams, they don't need to be in planes. I'm not against them being in planes. I just think right now there's no reason for them to be in planes, right? If we're going to seed
Just
things,
if there
right?
was more teams. Like I know Riot are hell bent on lowering the amount of teams there are in international games, but yeah, I would opt for more teams. Like incorporate like LTA 2, LTA 3, South LTA South even have like LCP 2 and 3. So like in a plane so and get like a good plane. I know people didn't really enjoy it before. I personally like it because
I
I
mean,
feel
then it
like
just
it's a
becomes a
good warm
wild
up.
card tournament, right? Like that's kind of like something Riot has moved away from, where it's like, okay, have all of these like lower seeds play, and then the champion gets to join
I
the big
found
dogs.
like the more we've gone away from like a lot of teams, like the less I've enjoyed it like as much. I'm not generally a big fan of the MSI format, like where it's this it's just bracket, right? Like I like every team minus the top LCK and OPL teams, like these games to like find their footing and ramp up before having to play LCK and OPL.
I
Not
can
that
see
it helped
that, yeah.
G2, to be fair. Not that it helped G2, but they were playing Gen G.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I think there's like actual merit to it. I have to think about it like on my side. From my side, like I think when you're getting to international play for North America, like there's the thing where it's like, oh, we don't get to play against the EU, and like I don't think we've earned the right to play against the EU, if that makes sense. Like why would we get an easy matchup? In Worlds is a little bit different, but in MSI, why would we get an easy matchup of playing against a European team and then have to have two Asian teams face each other, right? I don't think we've earned like we haven't like if KC if for the next like four international tournaments EU makes the finals every single time, then sure they deserve to play against NA, and you know the tier two from China and North America are the ones that should get screwed. But like as of right now, if you want like I think MSI needs to be very competitive because Worlds has its like the luck of the draw, right? Like it has that appeal. It's single rounder. It's not single rounder. It's a single elimination. It's like it's randomized using switch state like draw. It's like it has that magic to it. Like you don't know who you're gonna play. You don't know if things might not be like even our what's it called? G2 has to play BLG. T1 like has to play freaking Gen G. Whereas FlyQuest they play like Damwon and lost to them. They played like Gam and freaking PSG. It's like very very different. So
Yeah.
Worlds can stay like sure if you don't want to give it like competitive integrity because you want the wonder. Sure, let that be. But then you need something that's very competitive, and I think MSI has to be that. And like, if it's competitive, I just want to see the best players play against the best players as much as often to like guarantee that. Like we saw BLG versus T1 twice last year. We saw BLG versus Gen G
Mm.
twice last year. We saw TES get their shot against Gen G. We saw Fnatic get their
I
shot against Gen G.
Even if they don't make it like a play-in, why don't they just make it a bigger bracket? In the sense, like you have a couple of earlier rounds where you have like you can have these matchups,
I think
and
the
then
argument
like
then becomes like, why are we doing that? Like
mm,
in terms of like the biggest teams, they're not the ones playing, right? Because like the majority of viewership isn't going to be there. In terms of the majority of the fan bases, that's not going to be there. So it's like, who are you really satisfying besides a minority of the league, right? And you're putting in the same amount of money, the same amount of work, the same amount of effort. You're paying extra for like the casters, for the staff, for media, for all these people for like a subpar part of a tournament instead of cutting that out and putting more effort
yeah,
and making it double round robin. Like obviously you say why don't we do both? But like to them it's like do we want it double round robin? And you see BLG play T1 twice and play Gen G twice and see AL play T1 twice, or would you rather see like more tier 2 teams basically play in like an earlier I think like Riot probably made that because you're right, we used to have a lot more teams. They got rid of it and they were like we're going to have more like hyper competitive games for MSI.
I think it's like the trade-off, isn't it? It's like, do you want just the repeat of these big matches, or do you want more teams? I personally want more teams. I just don't like you have to have this argument of, oh, this team should have gone over this team and all that crap that I've been seeing online with the LTA North and South Discord.
I think specifically with the LTA North, it feels extra bad because we have two very, very powerful teams that are both better than G2. Like, and it's like quite obvious from just the way they play. It's not even like transitive power. It's like just look at how they play. They clearly better. And like maybe FlyQuest end up losing to G2, and everyone's like, ha ha, like NA shouldn't have a single seed. And it's like, sure, you're gonna laugh at us, but like, look at the way they play the game. FlyQuest and Cloud9 actually play the game. G2 don't. G2 are like a do nothing team. And like be better late game. FlyQuest have the best macro mid to late game, like of any Western team. Cloud9 are like the best standard Western team, like bar none, even better than Koi. I wouldn't even consider Koi like really standard. I guess they have like more fight than like KC or G2, but like it feels extra bad because we know that if they went versus instead of Furia, like they make it out and not G2. But at the end of the day, it
Yeah,
was like a trade-off that we made. Just like, oh, we're gonna merge NA and Brazil because if we do that, we're gonna inject some life into NA. On the flip side, like yes, we're killing off a bunch of Brazil to help NA, but in the flip side, we're gonna give Brazil a ticket, a golden ticket, like one of NA's spots because well, that's pretty much the
yeah,
only thing they got out of this deal, right? They got worse like viewership. Four of their teams got absolutely axed. Like they lost in every single situation except oh now we make it directly to Worlds and now we play best of fives at MSI, right? Because they don't even get a first stand ticket.
yeah. I think that's the only like trade-off you get is like you get that guaranteed um like slot into M7, but then even then you didn't get you had to go through playing still, like because TL won the split.
So actually, I don't
Um,
know if you heard, but Furia actually said that it was thanks to FlyQuest that they won the split and made it. They were like FlyQuest was a very good scrim partner. They taught us a lot of things. And it's like, imagine if we actually played a little bit more. Like maybe Furia would have been like like 5% better in BG2 and beat Gam. Like you never know. But like clearly
yeah,
cross regional is going to make them stronger. It's just a matter of like how long is it gonna take with us like playing what 3 weeks in total, the entire year of cross game, like that's not enough.
So
Obviously, there's
bad,
the
yeah.
boot camp, right? Like the boot camp hopefully should help them. But like
To a degree, but like you're not they're not boot camping. Like they're going to be scrimming like the top teams, like C9, FlyQuest, maybe FlyQuest, but they're not going to like. What teams went over again?
I think it was Pain and I mean if it's third, maybe Vivu, maybe. I'm not entirely sure how many teams Riot's sending, to be honest.
Because we haven't even heard anything about the mid tier NA teams scrimming. Like I haven't heard anything about Shopify. I haven't heard anything about 100 Thieves. We know TL's scrimming a little bit, but it doesn't seem like they're having too much luck like with scrims.
It's kind of hard when the tournament starts. I think like before the tournament starts, you get an opportunity, but like when the tournament starts, it gets very difficult because like does AL want to scrim BLG and T1 right now, or do they want or do they want to scrim like Furia and Pain Gaming? Like it's just a
The
question of like
advantage we have, yeah, like the advantage we have is that um like going later into the tournament when like teams are going home, we'll still be there.
yes,
Like
that's when they might get the games as
like
well.
I genuinely think that like it's going to be a problem for the LTA next split. Um, the amount of scrims that C9 and Fly are going to get over the rest of the league is very alarming. The only thing you'll have to worry about for C9 is the Esports World Cup and how jet lagged they may be and all that jazz. But the amount of scrims they're going to be learning from, they get to do it from their own home as well. Like how crazy is they don't have to do all this international travel. Obviously, I would rather our team be there, but we get to scrim from our own home. Like the environment is good for our players, and we're gonna learn a lot from it.
And then we're gonna scrim you
Because
guys,
I
and we're
haven't
gonna learn
heard.
from you guys.
Hopefully,
Yeah, that's like the hope. The hope is like FlyQuest and Cloud9 are probably the ones that are gonna get the most scrims. They're going to be able to like punish North America for the mistakes that they make, and then like level up the region, right? That's like really what you hope for.
TL. Like I know we'll probably touch on this like closer to the time. I do expect TL to kind of bounce back next split. I think some time off will be good for them.
I think so too. I think Impact is gonna have a much better split, but I don't think they're gonna win.
Nah, I don't think they're making. Truth be told, no one's touching the top two. Like they are so far out of reach. It's absurd. And like the thing is, we're like a year behind on our like development in terms of comparison to FlyQuest. Like we don't play the map anywhere near like as well as they do in terms of like what I call dead time. So like the dead time between objectives where FlyQuest will be taking your turret when we don't even know what's going on.
Yeah,
Even when even when they're losing, like if you I think it was game two of finals where it went from 4K to about 1K because they somehow the Trundle was able to take two top tier turrets.
yeah.
We had no idea what was going on. We were trying to take bot tier one, and then we've somehow lost 3K in like a matter of minutes.
Well, speaking of FlyQuest, are they gonna beat G2?
Of course they are. Unless like unless they somehow are mental wound, which I don't think there would be. Um because they both flying G2 had pretty bad losses. Uh should be fine.
So I saw that there was a lot of discussion about the draft, like FlyQuest drafting, and yeah, they didn't have the greatest draft, but like they're not drafting in isolation. They're drafting based on like what they want to play, right? That's like something that you can if you look at it in like a vacuum of like, oh, if robots were playing this game, AL's draft is so much better. But then you have to remember what comfort is for the FlyQuest players. Like if Whipple wants to play Mord into Yorick and then misses every single one of his skills, then like
That's not. I promise you, that is not a good matchup. I've played that matchup for years. It's been significantly like nerfed.
I mean, the
Like
idea is
before,
that
Maud used to be like, well, because now the maiden um damages him from outside the ultimate, so he's actually taking damage still.
yeah, but when the
Because
ultimate
before it used
runs
to
out,
be,
it dies, right? Like
yeah, no, once it loses all its health, it dies. But if it's full health, but Mordekaiser has ulted you, you will still take the damage. You just can't kill the maiden because it's outside the ultimate, which is absurd. It
no,
never
but
used to be like that. So it
when the
used to
Mordekaiser
be
ulti runs out, the maiden dies, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure it's like quoted really weirdly. Like
maybe.
it doesn't actually enter the realm, but then when Yorick respawns, like it dies. Like that's the whole point. It's like basically like Cho'Gath 2.0, where like Cho'Gath can just ult it. Like Mordekaiser can just ult and like kite it out, and then like once the 7 seconds are over, the maiden just dies.
Yeah.
But like
I don't know.
even then, you could see like he was level 2 to
It's not a
level
good
1.
matchup.
He missed his E. He missed his Q. He literally didn't hit. He missed everything and then died 1v1. And then people are like, oh wow, like why would you ever pick Mort? It's like he was up in that fight. He was up levels. He had tempo. If you miss every single one of your skill shots, that is not a champ diff. That is a player diff, like a piloting
It was
error.
like it was a combination of that matchup is terrible now. Like it's especially into like again transitive property. Why like Fudge was shitting on him in the same matchup, and then you decide I'm going to run this against Flandre, and then it goes 10 times
Yeah,
worse.
but he's playing
It's
better
like,
now. Like Bippo was playing quite bad against Fudge. Like let's be honest. The second time around, Fudge did not find
bro,
nearly as
like
many.
I think I don't. I know like there's been like a couple of games where Buffer's played well, but he hasn't played well in a while. Like the upper bracket, I don't think he played like great outside of game 1, 2, and then in the finals, I don't think he played well, and then this series he looked arse.
Yeah, I
I
thought
don't
his
think he
Shen
was the
game was
biggest culprit.
okay.
I think, I think the mid diff was the biggest like thing.
Ooh, I thought support diff was even bigger. Like mid diff was there, don't get me wrong, but support diff, oh my
Maybe.
god, Kael was like everywhere. He was always linking up. He was just playing the map so much better. And it reminds me, like actually last year at MSI, I talked to Inspired, and he mentioned, like I asked him like what's the biggest difference between playing Eastern and Western teams. Like dude, supports are so much better in the East. Like they play the map so much better. They know when to move. Like all the stuff that we do in NA like would be so heavily punished in the West, in the East, but like we're not. So like we really need to level up our support. Basically saying like, I mean, I know it was Busio's first year, but I just think like Kael was playing so well compared to Busio.
Yeah, I like the problem was that Hope plays so many fucking champions that it didn't matter what Masu played, even though I didn't like how they drafted him. Like to be honest, like yeah, I think it was nice taking away Hope's Jin because that is a problem for him. He didn't get Kaiser ironically, which is like most played champion. I don't know if it was banned the entire series. I didn't, I only watched the highlights, so I didn't check the champion select. But Western teams need to stop picking Callista Renata. It is up there with NA Jace in my opinion. Like that bot lane's just a problem. Even when we played it in finals, I like it's one of Sven's best champions. I just don't like the pick. It's such a hard champion to pilot, especially against Eastern teams. Like the people would have figured it out by now that it's such a hard matchup to like pilot.
Yeah, it's like yes, you win the lane, but then translating that into winning the game
Like
is
what
has been very difficult.
like you come out of it what a 5-10 CS lead at
No,
most
I mean
like
it's not
after
even
you
that. It's
spend.
about like the pressure. It's like, okay. Would you rather be 5-10 CS up, or would you rather they get the Kalista Renata, you be like 4 or 5 kills down, no summoners,
That's
like
the problem.
14 like plates out of 15 in the first 14 minutes?
That's the
Like,
problem with the draft, right? It's like, do you give it over or do you pick it and then you'll? It's such a hard like thing to like micromanage because you have to ensure that you never get in those scenarios where they're able to get a close to Ronaldo. But I don't know, man.
I mean, they were burning
I
flashes,
didn't
they were
like.
burning summoners, like they didn't get many tower plays, they didn't get like a huge lead, but at the very least, they didn't like they didn't give it over and then just like lose the game in 10 minutes, right? So it's
I didn't
like you're
I
saying.
didn't like the Ziggs. I didn't like the Ziggs pickup either. I would have liked to have seen him more corky. Um,
Well, Corki was
and not in that
already
specific.
taken, right?
No, not in that specific game, but just that series. I didn't like the champions as on like at all. Um, because outside of TL, I really struggle to see teams actually utilize Ziggs well because you have to overload one side, you have to churn through turrets, and unless you like, and Flight didn't really have any pressure. Like the Ziggs was a problem when he actually could land his stuff, but Masu was whipping a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know why they didn't pick Tristana. Like, I would have been fine with the Ziggs if they picked Trist mid, but then they didn't end up picking Trist mid because I think they had to pick
Yeah,
the Lee because they would have banned the
there's so many
Lee.
times where AL were like so weak, and then there's just no fallout damage because like Tristana would have mopped up in these fights.
I guess that's like, do you want? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that FlyQuest have to take into consideration because like you can't get everything that you want, right? And they wanted the Shannon to Mbessa, so it's like pick your matchup. Do you give, you know, do you let them ban the Lee Sin and then have no real like good jungler, or do you pick the Tristan? Like, there's so many things, and like, yes, sure, maybe they got outdrafted, but it wasn't because in isolation, like you could just get everything that you wanted. It's like, oh, the enemy played well, and therefore we ended up losing draft, not we just lost it because for no reason. And then like the other thing is like, but Inspired said this in the press conference. He was like, if you guys think draft was the problem, you don't have eyes. Like we just played bad. You know, like the number of times on Viego he would ult in like to get his execute, not get the execute and die. If he just waited like 2 extra seconds, he gets the execute, gets the reset, wins the team fight. Like it happened 3 times, 3 times where he whiffed it, and like that game three, the Viego game was pretty close. The team fights were really close until Shanks got 10 kills. But like, imagine you play just a little bit better and Shanks doesn't get 10 kills because Viego gets like you're playing a Viego reset comp and he's getting his resets. I can see why Inspired says that. I know a lot of people were flaming him for that, but like I can see why he said that because like dude, if I played 5% better that Viego game, we go to game 5. If we didn't absolutely run it down, like the Kalista
Yeah.
Renata game, like maybe we were able to win that game. Maybe we were get it more competitive. Maybe we go, like I can see why he was like draft wasn't really a problem because we had 2 winning drafts and 2 losing drafts, and like that's what's gonna happen in a
I would
professional
have
League of
liked to
Legends game.
seen. I would have liked to see Masu on some more like aggressive picks. I love the center. Maybe they learned it from C9. I don't know because we play center quite well. But like center's very very strong at the moment, and I'm glad they're picking that up. But it's just a rough series. There's another rough Whipper performance. I don't know. The guy looks like he stresses himself out, like trying to really have that
Yeah.
advantage that maybe he once had, and like he looks like he. Obviously, you want players to take it seriously, but I feel like he definitely gets in his own head about like playing these Eastern top laners.
Yeah, I would have loved to see his Volibear. Like Volibear is a champion that he's had a lot of success with, and it's
Yeah,
like one of those champions that is like so super easy not to int on, right? Like, which is
yeah.
nice. Like, obviously he had a good Cho'Gath game. Like, is Cho versus Sion like very good counter pick was like completely pushing the Sion. Like they were pressuring. I thought they played the Jin like TF comp pretty well. I thought they had enough. Like, I know again this is the same Viego game, but I thought that game draft was like surprisingly fine. Like you have to go Viego there because like what are you gonna pick? Like Lilia? Like there's nothing else to pick. You have to pick a
Was that
carry jungle.
did I have Cho'Gath that game?
Yeah, it was Cho'Gath, Viego,
I think I would have liked the
TF.
more aggressive top, like the more carried top lane,
He
because I think
doesn't
that
play
comp would have
Jax. He
been
doesn't
really
play
nice.
Camille. He doesn't
I
play
know,
these
like
like champions.
that's the problem. Like I think like a Gwen or something would have been really
Gwen.
nice.
I mean,
Like
Gwen could be into Sion. Like I mean, yeah,
maybe
probably Gwen wins the game.
not into Azir, but Gwen I
You
think
just put
overall would have been
W and like
nice.
Azir can't hit you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gwen could have been turbo there, but like you have to deal with the limitations. You were saying like, why don't you put Masu on more carries? Maybe they were playing carries and scrims and like just getting rolled, and it's like, okay, we have to have him on like the Ziggs and the Jin because like if we pick the Kaisa, we just lose. You know, like so I don't know.
I
They
was able
they
to like take the Varus away as well, which is one of Masters' most played champions.
Yeah.
Like Ezreal, no one's really playing at the moment.
Ezreal's being played. Honestly, like we didn't see MF, we didn't see Ezreal. Like I feel like they're being played.
I
We
think
saw
MF,
Elk
to be honest,
destroy on Ezreal, right? Like he completely
bro,
danced on G2.
to be honest, I really think MF is like a shit pick. I don't like it. Um, I feel it's like another one of those dream combo like champions, like that doesn't really do much.
I think people have learned like I think people have learned more to not go like we're gonna go like MF, Amumu, Rel, like just like complete wombo combo and
Try and
more.
like, yeah,
Yeah, the more just like take
yeah.
MF, use her lead to get prio. She has super fast move speed. She's super safe.
She does so
She just
much. She has so much damage and pick potential. Like it's absurd with her like passive and a
yeah,
Q.
just like play around her other strengths. But having said all that about like FlyQuest flaws and draft and whatnot, they're just gonna roll G2. Like they're gonna. I know when I think it was NAMin that asked in the press conference, or someone asked, maybe it was Hoopu. They asked Inspire like, oh, what do you think about playing G2? And he was like, they're a good team. It's gonna be a tough matchup. It's not gonna be tough. Like if G2 take more than one game, I'd be very surprised. I think G2 just don't. G2's playstyle just doesn't match up well. They have this playstyle of like, oh, we're gonna do nothing for a while and just lane, and like that means Skewmond is gonna path efficiently and he's gonna get a lead, and then we're gonna be strong. And it's like, you know who's like very very good at destroying that? FlyQuest, because we have Inspired, and yeah, we're not gonna let you do that. We have the best like mid to late macro. You're not gonna get those advantages.
The only thing I'll ever say about G2 is you can never discount them too much because caps exists. So like he could pull like a rabbit out of the hat. That's how I would see them getting the one. But outside of that, I don't expect this. Like you do have the battle of the absolute turbo winters at the moment in top lane.
Okay,
Like because they're
Whippo is not anything nearly uh, as BB in my opinion.
well, he's only had the chance to play one series. Give it a
That's
few
good.
series, and I promise you,
Okay,
he'd look the
okay.
exact.
He was playing against Flandre, one of the best top laners in the world, a world champion. And who was who was BB playing against? Let me see. He was running it down versus Gigu, a player that the casters can't even get his
Yeah, but
name
there's
right. Kiaya, like come on, man.
but you can't confidently say that Buffer wouldn't do the exact same thing into those as well.
I think I can. We've seen him. He went to South America. He played against these like he was fine. He didn't turbo
But then
int.
what about
We
I don't
saw him
know.
play against Gam last year. He didn't turbo int. Like
If I say what I really would say, like I'd be absolutely like um fried on social media.
okay. Uh, but
Fraud
yeah,
watch.
I I think we're both on the FlyQuest is gonna beat G2 train. It's gonna be exciting. I'm not sure if that game is tomorrow. I don't understand the schedule.
Yes, it's tomorrow because people were talking about the 4th of July.
Oh
NA
yeah,
versus
that's right.
EU
That's right.
matchup.
It is tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll see that tomorrow. Let's just talk about the MSI bracket in general. I think there's the we have Genji versus AL. I know I predicted AL to win the first time, and then they're gonna rematch in the bottom bracket, and Genji is gonna win.
Let me
The
get my pickums, but
You think what?
I think mine are pretty. I'm just saying, let me get my pickums because I think they're pretty stock standard. To be honest with you,
I think my pickums are not stock standard, so I'll pull up my pickums too.
I went. Uh, if I screenshot this, can you pull it up on stream?
Uh, yeah, I can.
Okay, I'll screenshot my upper bracket. Now I'll explain.
Uh, oops, did not mean to do that. There we go. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Our camera's just died. There we go. Okay. And then where's the screenshot? There it is. There we go. All right. So you had Gen G beating G2, you had AL beating FlyQuest, and then you have Gen G beating AL, Gen G. Oh, you have T1 versus beating BLG? I don't know if
I
that's
believe
stronger.
in I believe in the T1 bullshit.
But then you have Gen G beating T1, and then I'm assuming AL clean up in the lower bracket.
Yeah, I just don't trust BLG at the moment.
Wow.
I feel like they've kind of something's like it's off, if that makes sense. It's something that just doesn't feel like they're running on all cylinders. BLG. But then yes, I do have the curse finally being broken with Genji being 2-1.
I'll show my pickums. I had Gen G beating G2. I had AL beating Fly. I have T1 beating CFO, BLG beating MKOI. But then I have AL beating Gen G in the top side of the bracket. And like we can get into that in a bit. I have BLG beating T1 because I just think they look better. I think T1 like played better for sure to make it here, but not as good as BLG, if that makes sense. BLG getting their revenge against T1, BLG getting their revenge against AL. And then in the lower side of the bracket, I have FlyQuest beating G2. I actually think CFO is going to beat Mad Lions. I think they're just the better team.
That would
Um,
definitely I put MKOI to beat CFO. But then
you
I
put him
also
Koi.
had like the lower round 3, I had AL to beat BLG, and then I had AL to beat T1.
Oh,
So then
I
you get
have
like a Genji AL finals.
FlyQuest beating T1. I think FlyQuest are gonna scale up. I think T1's
Okay.
the weakest of the four
I
teams,
This is
Eastern teams, and I think
dude,
they can
I
do it.
actually had a funny thing about this. If you if you actually think about it or deep it for a second, I genuinely believe T1 is like the fourth best LCK
That's what
team.
Oh, LTK, sure.
Yeah, LCK. I thought KT were better. I
I
thought
think so
Hard One Life
too.
were definitely better. Like they
They
caught
both
them
choked.
with their
Yeah.
pants pulled. They caught them with their pants pulled down. They got like fortunate that they caught like a heartbroken like HLE. So they were on like full tilt after that Gen G series.
I do agree with you
I
somewhat.
thought
Yeah.
KT was playing better the majority of that series as well. Um,
I also
so
think that the fourth best
like no,
like
but if you would
Eastern
have
team
told me
here.
like if you think about that, if you think about it for a second, like they're the fourth best LCK team. If you would have said to me like, or if I ask you at the start of MSI, do you think FlyQuest should be beating the fourth best LCK team? You would have said yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is you then check at the names, like the nameplates, and you're like, God damn it! Like, I don't. They're gonna do some bullshit, and then they're gonna somehow make finals, aren't they?
No, I have them. I have them losing. I have T1 losing to FlyQuest and to BLG. I have Gen G beating CFO, and then FlyQuest is gonna lose to Gen G. Gen G is gonna get the rematch against AL. They're gonna go against BLG in the grand finals, and BLG are gonna win. That's my bracket. Definitely not what most people have. I think the safe bet
If
is
there's
Gen
a
G to
team
win.
if there's a team I really want to win, it is BLG because I'm such a big Bin fan. Like,
This is my bracket is basically the BLG redemption arc. They beat T1, then they beat AL, getting revenge against T1, getting revenge against AL. Then they go to the upper bracket, the finals, and they beat Gen G, like getting revenge against Gen G for MSI last year. It's just like the perfect story for BLG. I didn't do it on purpose; it just happened that way. But yeah,
what do you think? Okay, you see how I was talking about with C9, like if we lost the Shopify, I'm worried about the implications rather than like the actual team we're losing to. What do you think the implications are if FlyQuest lose to G2? Like, where do we go as a region? Like after talking all this shit, and then
I'm gonna
we
say the same answer I told you last time. I'd rather not think about that.
it scares the shit out of me. Like honestly,
I'm not
I
worried,
don't know
to be
what we do.
honest. It's like I'm really not worried. It's like how BLG
Yeah,
were not worried to face Gam. Like they're just the worst team. Like if we lose, like shoot us. Like what can we do? You know,
but if we lose, who cares? Because we're not competing anyways. Like, let's puff that copium for a second.
Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd rather not think about it, to be honest. It would be.
I just like really, really wish we would. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
I do think people are once again, maybe even I'm doing it, where like you're getting the Western players saying, BOG aren't that good. People really need to learn by now that the LPL teams are shit in scrims, and like you can make an NA team feel like they have a chance against the FPL, and then as soon as they play them on stage, it's completely different like ballpark. Because I think Lucio was talking about like they don't see BLG as like really that strong. We did the exact same thing in 23 where we had very good results against the LPL teams in scrims. Like especially BLG, we said like they're the best team we've matched up into. We beat them most times, and then we went on stage, got 3-0'd.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a close to. It was like, okay, like let's clean up the mop. It's like a.
Yeah, exactly. Like people are definitely doing that again already with LPL teams.
Yeah, I think.
Like, oh, they're not good. These guys just play like absolute bonkers in scrims.
I think it's more of like that the fact that LCK teams play really well in scrims. They choke
Oh,
you out
they
in
take it
scrims.
like they're playing like they play like it's World Finals.
Yeah, like apparently, like a lot of times they play better in scrims than they do on stage, whereas LPL teams like play better on stage than in scrims, and I think that makes it always seem like, oh, the LPL teams are weaker and the LCK teams are stronger, but then when they actually do a matchup, like you get destroyed by both.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they did take, recently we've had somewhat okay results. They did take a game against AL. The game was like pretty clean. It wasn't like AL was completely inting it. Sure, Tarzan like kind of threw a couple times, but FlyQuest wasn't making a lot of mistakes. And then the rest.
I really, 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 really hope that that rumor that we like were trying to look at Tarzan's not true, because I watch him play and it's like what he would have done to this league. He is terrifying, man.
I mean, I think right now Tarzan's playing like the best jungler in the world, or second best. Like he's one of the best junglers in the world, like bar none. I don't know if like I think he's like one of the few excuses I would let you guys replace Blabber with. Like Blabber is your key friend. He should retire on Cloud9, in my opinion. I am also a Blabber stan, so like maybe there's a little bit of bias, but yeah, I can see why you guys were looking at Tarzan. He's good. He's really good. Like he speaks fluent Chinese, man. The guy goes, learns the language, like freaking wins your championship. Yeah, this guy's he's too good.
What's your prediction for Fly G2 Frio?
I mean, probably. I think if you're being safe, 3-1, but I do think it's gonna be a 3-0 Fly G2. What about you?
I've been enjoying the fearless. Frio Fly.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Jungle Gap.
Jungle
Jungle Gap.
gap, jungle gap, bot gap.
Yeah.
I can't say anything about top. I think they're both gonna int.
I expect the second best NA jungler to show up.
I would be so sad if C9 picked up Tarzan. Mega talent suppression engine. That reminds me of TSM talent suppression. Yeah, I'm assuming you meant
There's
Tarzan.
no
Yeah.
amount of talent suppression that could go on, and it'd still be the most disgusting 1v9 performance I'd ever see in a region. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if Summit was able to like completely run top lane, like this guy Tarzan's gonna come and is just gonna win the league. Like it's not even gonna be close, in my opinion. Dude, what's
Yeah.
crazy is you could take the Griffin roster, you could put Dor on top, right? Because Sword doesn't play anymore. You could put Dor on top. You could put CV Max as coach, straight up, right? You could have freaking Tarzan, Chovy, Viper, Lehans. Does that team not just win worlds? Like, come on, like that's a crazy amount of talent that they had.
And just think about it now, they're all really successful now. Like they all went on to like be very successful.
Yeah, they have a
But
world
like
champion. They have
it's
two MSI champions. They have like LPL and LCK, like many, many, many championships. Um, yeah, they're all well accomplished. Tarzan just got his first chip this split, but like he's made multiple world championships,
Better late
multiple
than never.
finals.
Better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never. Want to get into some viewer questions? We had a couple.
Yeah. Let's start with. So this is from Stones, who's a Cloud9 mod. Why does Cloud root for SR when there is a team with his namesake right there?
Because I'm an idiot. That's why. Because I'm an idiot. The thing is, here's the thing. When Cloud9 came into the league, I was a TSM fan. I was a BRSM fan. And so it was a thing of like, I can't be a Cloud9 fan and a TSM fan, right? Like that you can't be a TSM and a CLG or a
Apparently,
Cloud9
you
fan.
can now. Everyone's doing it.
Well, okay, now you can, but back then there was like actual loyalty to your team, like you actually cared
Yeah.
about the rivalries. Now it's not, there's no real rivalry. You can be a Team Liquid and a FlyQuest fan and a Cloud9 fan and a Dignitas fan and a Disguise fan. Like,
Dude, I promise you, dude, if Inspired came over to our team, all the FlyQuest fans suddenly go out the door. Like they're coming to us.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I couldn't be a Cloud9 fan unless they were international. Obviously, they were always doing better than TSM, except for that one like IEM where we won. And so I was like, okay, well, I can't be a DSM, I can't be a Cloud9 fan. I was always a Blabber fan. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a Blabber fan. Like he's from
Yeah.
Maryland, I'm from Maryland. Like there is that. Yeah, I've thought about like just being a Cloud9 fan because Cloud and Cloud9. I wish, but I'm a Shopify fan. For unfortunately in this situation, like fortunately overall, but like unfortunately. Um, yeah, it's because I'm stupid. That's why.
I would have never swapped teams like that. Like from like two biggest rivals. Like I wouldn't fathom it. Like if C9 went out the door today, I would not be donning a Team Liquid jersey next week. Like you would never catch me. Like I would just feel disgusted. Like I wouldn't support a team. Like David has the unfortunate thing that he's probably losing every single team that he ever supports in any League of Legends, but like
Just please don't be a Shopify fan, please.
the thing is, like it depends what type of fandom like he would want to like attribute himself to, like when if he moves to, let's say that he moves to FlyQuest.
He's moving to Team Liquid. Let's
I
just be
would
honest. He's moving to Team Liquid. He's already a Team
it,
Liquid
I
fan. Like,
will I will never count that as like you're a fan of that team. You've bumped around so many times, like cheering for so many teams. It's different, like internationally. Like, I like that. Like fair enough. Esports is a bit different than like your traditional like sports team. Like you wouldn't catch me cheering on Liverpool, for example, in like a Champions League game, for example, or you wouldn't see me cheering for another country in like the World Cup because they're from Europe, right?
uh-huh.
So like I would find it hard to like I find it hard calling people that like change teams like you're a fan of that team.
But in
David's
David's,
situation's a bit unique because
yeah.
his team gets blown up, like literally. So like and if he wants to find a team to choose, that's like fair enough on him. I just know I would never call myself like, oh, I'm a Team Liquid fan now because like my teams got blown up.
I mean, he's like
He's
Team
running out
Liquid.
of teams though.
He
Eventually, all
is.
roads lead to Cloud9. All roads lead to Cloud9.
All roads lead to Cloud9. I think Team Liquid are
Well,
relatively
apparently we
stable.
tried to recruit him as well, which is pretty funny.
I'm not surprised. It'll be a good move. All right.
Yeah, it would be
Next
very,
question is from
very good.
Poppy343, who says, "What is the worst roster move in league history, mid split, and what is the best roster move mid split in history as well?" The mid split makes it a little bit
Sh-
harder for sure.
Shall we seclude this to NA? Because I think it'd be very hard to go all the way back in history.
Sure.
We can do,
The thing is, mid
we can do
split. I
NA.
think he means literally during the split, not in between split, like spring and summer, right?
Maybe. How do we want to work this? Like, mid split. Do we want to do in between splits?
No, I think he means
I
like
think that
literally during the split.
yeah, I think like someone got booted out. I mean, if you're looking mid split's hard because like there isn't many that are like you get like bonked on the head after like a few games and you're out.
Yeah, it usually happens like between splits. But I mean, the
Let's do
obvious one I
let's
think of is like CLG when they got rid of like Dardoch. Like they didn't want to get rid of Dardoch, but Dardoch like made fun of one of the coaches, and the coach was like, "You're benched," and he was like, "Dude, we're winning finals with this guy. Just let us win finals and then kick him." And then all of a sudden they have to play with Omar God, and then it's like, "Oh yeah, we totally wanted to do this and lose every single game with our new jungle who like straight up never played competitive ever again." It's like that could have been like CLG could have won that championship, so I think that might be the worst in NA because like you
didn't
literally took a
Yo,
championship team, did
um
not tell the players, and just absolutely tanked the team and made it so the team was like not competitive.
didn't Bjork do it mid split as well?
Dardoch was not mid split. So when they picked up Spica and then bought him double lift, that was between splits.
No, no, I mean like was Bjorksen's 100 Thieves departure mid split?
No, it was between splits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That one really like really fucked the team over that split.
it
Like that
did.
next
It
split.
did. I think the other one, like you
Um
could technically think of, but here's the thing: it was an injury, but Poby was like a really bad roster move, right? I guess if you want to talk about best roster, it'd be like Poby leaving and bringing back Faker. That was like great. In terms of like a good mid split move, I don't know. Most of the
Lava.
stuff I'm thinking of was like, for example, adding um Abadage to 100 Thieves. That was in between splits, and like they ended up winning the league. Uh,
Lava's a very good shout. Lava came in um like midway through.
yeah, but then they didn't win the finals, right? They brought in Jensen with Blabber, so it was like
But I mean
Golden Glue and Svenskeren, and then they needed to bring in
but I
Golden
mean
Glue and Svenskeren to even make it to Worlds. So it's like
but I
I
mean if
think
we yeah, but we were like Blabber played like the second half of that split.
yeah
Minus the one Team Liquid game where they played Svenskeren. Um like we were in 10th place when Blabber came in, and then we
yeah
finished second and got the bye.
no, you still had to play in the regional gauntlet, and then you had to
Yeah,
bring
we did
in yeah
because
Svenskeren and Golden
we
Glue. You brought in the
we didn't
Swole
do
Bros to
well
win.
in spring.
Yeah, Spring you were really bad.
That was such a weird that was such a weird split.
Yeah, I
Because
feel
you
like
remember that was the 100 Thieves, like that was the gauntlet tiebreaker day
I just remember you beat
for
us as TSM 3-2, and Sven had like a Swain game, and they lost that. That was the last game. I think Bjergsen had Aurelia, and he missed the auto, didn't get the kill, and like the game kind of snowballed. Um,
I actually thought that TSM Brun was going to ruin Zven. It's crazy, bro. Because like he only had 3 splits on G2, but he was absurd.
yeah,
And like comes over fighting for his life against Clutch Gaming.
do okay. I think Mickey. It's not Mickey. I think man, I'm blanking on his name.
Miffy.
No. The jungler we
Huckle.
brought in was Sven. We brought
Oh,
Sven. One second.
Mike Young.
Mike Young, yes, was such a bad. Like you could tell from so far away, this is such a bad pickup. Why are you doing this? And it turns out to be such a bad pickup, and like
Did you know
completely
we
destroys the
almost
game.
didn't get Sven because Mike Young scarred him from
I heard,
wanting
yeah,
to ever play with young junglers again. So then when we said about Blabber, Zven's like, no.
yeah, I heard. Mike Young was so bad. Like he had one good series, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" Like the next rookie, he's the next Blabber. Like Blabber wasn't Blabber at that time, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy. The best move, best roster mid split move. I really can't think of one that was good.
Mid
Like I said,
split's
most
hard.
of
I
this,
always think of
yeah.
like between splits is why. Let's do a between split. That'd
Well,
probably be
between
easier to
splits now
remember.
now that opens up a lot, right?
Yeah. I
Definitely,
mean, if we're
like
talking NA,
Abadage to 100
uh,
Thieves is a big one. Like they won the split right after, right?
technically, um, Jensen coming in 2022.
I mean, you also had like a late role swap as well. So Bippo like moved up. So I don't. That was like two moves, not one, right?
Yeah.
Worst
Um,
has to be Mike Young. Like I guess technically that's not mid split because that was over the off season. Uh, what else would be really really bad? Oh, Photon for Surdy. I think that's probably gonna go down as one of the worst mid split
that's a
changes in history.
prediction, not like I
Yeah,
I don't think nothing really changes. I think it's just
exactly.
gonna
It's
be
like
like,
horrible. It's just that you wasted like talent, you lied, you burnt so many bridges, and like you're gonna keep doing it again. Maybe
yeah.
I'm just a dig hater, but yeah, there's been.
Oh, Poby for oh yeah, Poby for humanoid.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. What else is there? Yeah, those are the ones that come to mind. I think Abadage, like joining, winning a championship, that was a pretty big one. Um,
Technically
I mean, Quad and
bringing in
Jensen.
double lift. Technically bringing in double lift. In 2020 TSM. Technically, even though I don't think he
It was
really.
multiple changes, right?
Con-
Because we brought in Biofrost, we brought in Double Lift, and then we brought in Spica. So like it was three changes. We changed 3/5 of the team. So it's
Not that
kind.
I think he really had a contribution in in that
He
championship
did. He got
run, but
Zillion's E and R, and like got carried. Right? That was his contribution. He got carried. He lost every lane and got carried.
yeah, he just pressed R on Caitlyn. That's all he's doing.
Yeah. Um. Well, I had one in mind and I completely blanked. Um. Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot more like between split changes with like the split three split format.
APA technically, actually, good shout.
Yeah. Oh, quad. The one I was saying, quad for Jensen. That was huge, right? God Flack was their
Mm.
first championship. Jensen was like one of the best mid laners in the league, and they chose to bench him, and then got an even better mid laner. That was ballsy. Um,
The way Jensen's career fizzled out is like really sad for me
I
because
know
people talk about him in such disgusting like vein
it's because
when
he had
like
bad split, good split, bad split, good split, bad split, and people were getting burned, and then like he had his
I think
big
it's because
split, and they
like
were like, okay.
he would already. I think he had already checked out at that point of like he didn't want to do the grind really too much anymore.
Yeah.
Like because at one point this dude was literally second to Bjergsen.
He was the best
Like,
mechanical mid laner. Like when he came in 2017, he was like the number one solo killer in the league. He was like completely
dude, do you
smurfing,
remember when he got
completely
like the
smurfing.
18 kill LeBlanc game?
Yes, I
And
remember.
that
I
was
was
the
actually
split he
thinking of
should have won
that.
MVP. That was the split he should have won MVP. I think Arrow won MVP that split.
No, I think it was Bjergsen.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think what happened was like TSM players did
Uh,
not vote
This
for
is
Jensen.
2017, right?
Yeah,
This is 27. Yeah, I think it's Arrow got. Arrow was
the
2017
spring or
spring, no?
summer. I thought Arrow was
Spring.
summer MVP. Was he spring? Maybe I'm confusing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think those are the ones that come to my mind. Those are the only questions we got. Do you have anything else? I think the game's started already. We have, I think, right now T1 is playing, right? Or is it the BLG game first?
I think it's BLG Koi there, so.
Oh, okay. Well then I'm gonna go watch the games. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's BLG Koi.
Who's winning? Let me check. So many ads.
I know. It's 0-0.
Koi
Like,
has a 200 gold lead.
yeah, it's there's nothing. Like the game hasn't started yet.
Jojo's on Yone.
I mean,
Interesting.
that is what you have to do, right? That is what you have to do if
He
you
needs to
want.
be on there. That's the thing, like, I still don't think he's great, but he needs to be on these champions.
They first picked Iona, yeah. They banned the Poppy, Annie, and Jax. Interesting.
What do you look at the UI very quickly?
I got used to it. It's not bad. It's not great. I like the previous one more, but I mean, they want to change it, keep
I
it
feel
fresh,
like
sure.
you don't need to change. Like I feel it's just such an unnecessary change.
I agree, but like you're always gonna get like in my job, the same thing happened. Like management comes in, they're like, "Oh, we have to change things so we can do something, right? Like, or else we haven't done anything." So, oh look, we brand new UI. Look at how clean it looks. Like, it happens. You know, it's
I
like
I think the top ticker looks really clean, but I am not a big fan of the like just the map height in comparison to the rest of the scoreboard is really tilting me.
oh yeah, the height, the fact that they're not all even.
Like before, like I know it was just you integrated the graphics from the like the watcher. I forgot what he's even fucking called now. Like the spectator like
Yeah,
client. Like it used to just be whatever the graphics were on there you used, but it just looks so much cleaner back in the day. I guess there was also like less going on. Now you need like grubs.
Grubs, yeah, and Herald
You
and
need
like Otacon
herald
and
flowers.
yeah,
Yeah.
boots and yeah. I mean, it makes
I
sense.
don't like the I don't like the scores for like matches, like series score. I prefer when it's just like just a simple 1, 2, or 3 instead of like the little boxes they do.
Oh, I don't.
Because it makes it terrible if you're on like a gigantic TV and you're like sitting far away. You can't see shit. Like
Ah,
for
okay.
like I can't actually see like the CS or like if you're on a big TV and you're like sitting like a decent size away from like across the room, terrible viewing experience. You just
Interesting.
have to watch the game and just like know who's winning.
I wonder what percentage of people watch on TV. Like that would be something that I would be very interested in to see.
I mean, when I had my apartment, like I used to watch all the games on like the TV. I think it was just nice to watch. But I know a lot of people do watch from like a tablet or laptop or whatever.
I watch either on my phone or on my computer, so my desktop.
Phone's good. Phone's good.
Yeah. All right, I think that's all we had. Thanks for
Yeah.
watching. We'll be back next week after FlyQuest PG2 and beat T1.